Hey folks, Fromark here once again with part 5 of Knuckles Chaotix, and this time around I'm in Speed Slider 3, and I'm partnered up with Mighty the Armadillo, so this should be a pretty zoomy kind of area to navigate. As with previous Speed Slider levels, it starts out pretty similar, but it looks like it is nighttime as the day-night cycle is kicked in. It's also nighttime at the time I'm recording this, as daylight savings is kicked in as well. But yeah, nothing really going on differently than what hasn't already been said. You just gotta zoom through the fancy speed slider, which seems to be the carnival part of this carnival island. But now we got Big Mighty. Aw, crap, I went into that ring. Didn't mean to. Yeah, there we go, get out of there. And get back on with the action. And I still got Big Chungus. So just gonna run through here, which Speed Slider, I will point out, the theme for Speed Slider makes a really good song to run to. As most of the songs in my Sonic mix and my workout playlist are, I usually listen to them when I'm on the treadmill. Sounded like the music slowed down there for a second. I guess it lags on the emulator too. That elevator's tricky stuff. Hey, I recognize that flying bug-looking badnik from Sonic CD. I think that's the only badnik that makes a return for this, as everything else seems to be all new. The badniks that do show up, anyway. I don't think I've fought a single Eggman battle boss yet, as I haven't made it to Act 5 of any of these zones yet. But hey, we'll get there. It looks like I'll be finishing off the final parts of the game and the final parts of the playthrough. Getting a little redundant there, but oh well. This whole game's a little redundant. It is definitely the weakest of the classic Sonic titles, but that doesn't make it terrible. It's just not as solid. But what is solid is the fact that I just made it to the end of this act. So keeping things rolling along pretty smoothly. Not really sure how I ended up getting the secret bonus there, considering I didn't jump into or get any of the special stage ring. Anyways, hey, Speed Slider 4 this time. Yeah, I kept getting Speed Slider every time I'd go to the randomizer. Which it pretty much picks your levels at random when you spin dash or hit the selection. This time around, I got Vector the Crocodile with me, so we're gonna zip-zoom our ways through here. Of course, I managed to lose a ring, but that's one thing that's pretty cool about this, is sometimes if you get hit, or sometimes if your partner gets hit, you only end up losing one ring as opposed to all of them. Or if you have that blue ring monitor, you only lose a giant ring and you can get them all back. I kind of like that enemy there, the badnik that dribbles the bouncy things. That's a neat concept. Kind of reminds me of the badnik from Casino Night Zone in Sonic 2. I'm pretty sure that badnik is the only one in Casino Night Zone, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, and these enemies here can lock onto you and become a nuisance. But no need to worry, as my partner in crime, Vector, was able to get him for me. Well, looks like the goal here is just to keep going upwards, and whatever goodies await upwards is whatever goodies await upwards. Not really sure what's going on with some of the backgrounds in this game. They look a little too busy, but I think that's kind of a problem with the levels and the level design altogether. It's just a little too busy, but not enough enemies and not enough to really do. But yeah, if any of you have ever thought about getting Knuckles Chaotix, like a complete physical copy of it, you might want to get on it, because it's gone and it's skyrocketed in value over the years. In fact, I paid like $350 for my copy. Oh hey, there's the end of Act 4. I almost forgot the name of the zone I was in. But yeah, let's just keep things rolling along, shall we, folks? It looks like the next act of Speed Slider will be the one with the boss battle. However, and it looks like I will go ahead and finish Speed Slider off in this part, folks. Welcome to Speed Slider 5, and this time around I've got Espio the Chameleon with me. Because like I said, I try to rotate between all the different partner characters. And yeah, once again, it kind of starts off about like the previous few acts of Speed Slider did. I feel like if this game would have been like maybe developed a little bit more, had a little bit more time worked on it, and maybe if there were less levels, it probably would have been a little bit better. Maybe added like one more zone as opposed to 5 acts per zone, and maybe just kept with the standard 2 to 3 acts per zone, but oh well. I mean, I'm the one who wanted to do a playthrough of this, and I don't mind. And like I said, I do like this game, it's just, after a while, there's only so much you can really say. I'm not really sure where I would rank this as far as Sonic games go, though. Besides, there's a lot of Sonic games I haven't played at this point. I feel like most notably, I've never played Sonic and the Black Knight. I've not played Team Sonic Racing or the first Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I never played Sega Sonic Arcade. And then, of course, at the time of recording this, well, I'm planning on buying Sonic Frontiers like as soon as I get paid again. So that's gonna date this part pretty heavily, considering Sonic Frontiers has already been out for a while by the time this part's up. And seems like Sonic Frontiers is a pretty solid game from everything I've seen and heard so far. I've heard a lot of people saying it's the best Sonic game that's come out in years. I certainly hope that's true. The music and everything kind of lagged out there for a second. Looks like it's still nighttime in the background of Speed Slider, though. That's neat. There's another one of those things, see if it lags. Will it lag? Oh, yeah it did. And a switch back over to Mighty the Armadillo. I think I already mentioned it before, Mighty plays pretty much just like a recolored Sonic, and I mean, he looks a lot like a recolored Sonic. But I still think it's fair to give Mighty the Armadillo plenty of love and recognition. I mean, he's not entirely a red Sonic, he can jump on walls. I don't think I've shown that off at this point. Of course, since I have Knuckles, Knuckles climbs walls, there's really no point. Hey, another cutscene though. And this time we're showing off. Got a showdown with Dr. Eggman once again. He's launching something up into space. It looks like we're on whatever he launched into space. And it's pretty much impossible, in my opinion, not to get hit at least once or twice here. So this just becomes one of those cases where I just take the hit in favor of just hitting that blue spot there in the middle. You just gotta hit that ring in the middle a few times, and that pretty much does it. But now I gotta be really careful not to get myself knocked out of this level. And it looks like I will succeed in beating this Eggman battle. There he goes flying off into the distance. And that's gonna do it for Speed Slider Zone, folks. I'm glad to finally have another zone knocked out. Because I feel like the randomized level selection makes it kind of hard to progress in certain zones. Because you never really know what it's going to be one to the next. But speaking of struggling to progress, it's time for Amazing Arena Zone again. This time, the third act. And the goal, once again, is just to find the hidden light switch. Looks like I need to go up. And yeah, well, I got Bomb with me this time, but I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. As long as I don't get hit. Zoom through here, though. Need to go up. Nope, nothing up here. No, it's around here somewhere. Not not really. I think as far as music goes in Knuckles Chaotix, this is probably the weakest song on the soundtrack, and I don't even know if it really counts so much as a song as it does like an interlude. Because just a few measures plays over and over again on loop. But I would say it's probably the weakest song in the entire game. However... Wait, is that the light switch below? No, there it is. There it is. Go ahead and hit that. Turn the power back on. And, oh man, I did not mean to do that. Where is an exit? I need an exit. Gimme, yeah. And just keep things rolling along. Now it does look, I can't tell if it's nightfall in Amazing Arena or morning. Because since I jump cutted all the hub world stuff out, it gives you a better indication of the day-night cycle in the game. Which I feel like is something that more Sonic games should utilize. I feel like more games in general should utilize like a day-night cycle or a weather cycle. Sonic 3D Blast on the Saturn kinda has a weather cycle. Every once in a while you'll see some rain or think you see some snow in Diamond Dust Zone. Oh yeah, that's what happens. See, if Bomb gets hit, he blows up, and that just becomes a multi-second distraction. And now I gotta figure out where the heck I'm going. Where do I go? Those fancy disintegrating platforms back there. Can't get enough of those. Can't get enough of this 32X action. Now, I noticed I still have yet to show off any of the mini-bosses for Amazing Arena. So here's one right now. Good thing I just... Speaking of the thing... But yes, they're all the same. You gotta hit the Eggman head a couple of times here and make sure you don't get hit by his hands, and there's a timer. I don't know if anything really happens when the timer runs out, but if you spend enough time here, it'll run out. But depending on how quickly it takes you to hit Eggman, I think you get more rings, as a bunch of ring monitors will just appear. And I do believe, yeah, oh man, enough with these freaking wireframe special stages. I got all the Chaos rings. But thanks to the magic of editing, you don't have to see it, and I don't have to see it again, so let's just keep things rolling to Amazing Arena 4, shall we? Looks like I may knock out the rest of Amazing Arena in this part. Here's hoping. Once again, find another fancy light switch. Bounce up these things. Now these platforms here that I'm bouncing on, you want to make sure both you and your partner are on those platforms, otherwise they will not launch you. Same goes for the UFO. You both gotta be standing in it. Now sometimes these light switches are pretty easy to miss, even with the map indicating them, as there have been plenty of times where I accidentally skipped past it, and really during the recording process of this game I thought Amazing Arena was gonna be the deal breaker. It's certainly an amazing experience. And that was terrible. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry you had to hear that. I'm real sorry about that. Man, no need to worry. Otherwise, I wouldn't have recorded this if it was a complete and total disaster. And right up above, there it is. Yeah, get another one of those fancy things. Another one of these disintegrating platforms. But yeah, as far as I know, Mighty the Armadillo making a cameo appearance in Mania Plus, on top of the blue ring monitor coming back for Mania, I think is the only times that this game really gets any references outside of it. Oh, and I feel like there's something else I'm missing that gets referenced from Chaotix. Sonic Mania is chock full of nostalgic Sonic references. I feel like it is the game that Sonic 4 should have been. I'm sorry, but I absolutely hate Sonic 4. It is just not my cup of tea. I feel like Sonic 4 is a name that should have been used on a much better game. And it just doesn't feel, play, or look like your typical classic Sonic game, and it's just not fun. Episode 2 kind of improves on what Episode 1 did, but the fact that they split it up into 2 parts and it looks like a crappy mobile game, it's just not my cup of tea. But what is my cup of tea is that both me and Charmy now have shields. If I can get him out of this UFO, or whatever it's supposed to be. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a UFO, unidentified flying object. My face is an unidentified flying object. Anyways. Those are some weird looking robots there, the things that just kind of walk back and forth. They seem a little out of place compared to the rest of the Badniks in this game. Although, I don't know, I feel like the Badnik design in this game is pretty neat for the most part. I just wish there were more of them to run into, and I wish there was more of an incentive. Although when you hit them, they give you a ring, so that's neat. It's just kind of weird that there's no animal buddies to rescue in this game as opposed to all the other classic Sonics. I feel like this game experimented with a lot of things, and basically it was kind of an oddball, like, try new things kind of title in the series. I feel like some of what it did worked, some of what it didn't work. But I guess that's just up to the player to decide. Now hopefully I can make it out of here. I really like that yo-yo thing you can do though that launches your characters further up. Basically what you want to do is if your partner's standing on a platform above you and you get stuck, you just want to hold down or push down sometimes, or maybe push a jump button. Make sure your partner's holding in place sometimes. Yeah, there's an example. I do want to say I'm close to the tail end of this 4th act, though. Doesn't look like I will finish Amazing Arena in this part, based on where I'm at right now. But let's slide through this fancy tube. And yeah, there it is. No? My bad, sorry folks, I thought that was the end. There's the end. Yeah, there we go. And actually, folks, that looks like that's going to be the end of Part 5, and I thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in to Part 6. I'll see you then.